Exploring the fascinating world of the Tesseract.
The definition and fun facts about a four-dimensional cube.
Introduction. Welcome all.
Today, we will be exploring the fascinating subject of higher dimensions and examining the complexities of our universe.
To begin, let us address a fundamental question. What is a tesseract?
Ever heard of a cube with 4 spatial dimensions? From Marvel movies to mind-bending science fiction, the word tesseract sure gets tossed around a lot.
But what is a tesseract? And how does it actually work? Let's stretch our minds beyond
and dive in. Part 1. Definition. Imagine starting with nothing. Not a shape, not a line, just a single point. No length, no width, no height. This is the 0 dimension.
And from here, we begin our journey.
I think our hero character is inside the black hole. We come to understand this. And he has access to a timeline that wouldn't otherwise be available to him. And he sees his daughter's bookshelf.
Well, he's no longer inside the black hole.
Where is he when he's doing
So
this?
this is the key thing that's not explicit.
A tesseract, also known as a hypercube, more on that later, is the 4-dimensional analog of a cube. Just as a cube extends a square into the 3rd dimension, a tesseract extends a cube into the 4th spatial dimension.
Start with a point. That's 0 dimensions. Now, move that point in one direction, and you get a line, 1 dimension.
Take that line and slide it sideways. Now you've got a square, 2 dimensions. Lift that square upward, and voila! You're in 3 dimensions. A cube just like the world we live in.
But what happens when we push a cube through a 4th direction, one we can't even perceive? What if we could actually extend that cube in a direction we can't see? You get a tesseract.
That's the idea behind when you imagine beyond the barriers into the 4th measurement.
A tesseract, a cube expanded into the 4th spatial dimension. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly is the 4th dimension? While we live in a 3-dimensional world where we measure length, width, and height, the 4th dimension is an additional spatial axis, perpendicular to all 3 of these. It's impossible to fully visualize what a tesseract would look like in 4D space because our brains are wired to understand only 3 dimensions. A 4-dimensional cube, a shape that exists beyond the limits of our sight, yet one that math hand imagination can bring into focus.
When he gets inside the black hole, he is scooped up by a spacecraft that was built by this advanced civilization that provided the wormhole to him and to humanity. And it's called the Tesseract. And Tesseract is a 4-dimensional cube, 4 spatial dimensions.
And that's why in there you saw, I guess, the past and future all kind of simultaneously.
All related to the
It felt very
Tesseract.
higher dimensional.
Part 2. The Tesseract in pop culture. The Tesseract isn't just theoretical, it's been imagined across science fiction and pop culture in several forms. If the word Tesseract sounds familiar, you might have heard it in movies like Marvel's The Avengers, where it's depicted as a glowing cube of immense power. But don't confuse the sci-fi version with its mathematical origins. The Marvel Tesseract is purely fictional, but it's not just a cool name. It certainly sparked curiosity about higher dimensions beyond our world. Here's a fun speculative idea. Many physicists and mathematicians have linked the concept of higher dimensions to theories of time travel. A tesseract is often used as a metaphor for how time might be a navigable dimension just like space. In the film Interstellar, the climax traps our hero inside a fourth-dimensional space, literal tesseract. Time itself becomes a physical landscape. It's a poetic visualization of what higher dimensions might feel like. You'll find echoes of tesseracts in A Wrinkle in Time, where they're used for space travel. Even video games like Antichamber and Fez that play with 4D logic. Or some subtle references like the 4D camera concept in the film Tenet, all aiming to depict the impossible. When visualizing a tesseract, imagine a cube within a cube, connected at every corner. That's the classic tesseract wireframe.
But that's just the shadow. The real thing lives in a higher space. Mathematicians study these shapes using coordinates and equations, but artists and animators help us see what our minds can't naturally grasp.
So early on, when we were working on the film, Christopher Nolan said to me he wanted to take his hero back to Earth, Cooper back to Earth, by a different route than the wormhole, 10 billion light years away from the Earth. How's he going to do it if it doesn't go through a wormhole? He said, well, I want to take him back faster than the speed of light. And of course, I say to Chris, you can't do that. It violates the laws of physics. He says, go do a real calculation.
Part 3. Why it matters. Tesseracts aren't just science fiction, more than just a shape. It's a math concept. They show up in theoretical physics, computer simulations, and even neural networks. A number squared is the second power of a number, 2 dimensions. A number cubed is the third power, 3 dimensions. A tesseracted is the fourth power. Even Einstein's theories hinted at higher dimensions beyond our own. Whether you're dreaming of time travel or exploring deep space, the Tesseract reminds us. The universe might be bigger and stranger than we ever imagined. In fact, the term Tesseract is also often known as some interchangeable names such as hypercube, biquadrate, and zenzizenzik, all describing this idea of going beyond cubed into the fourth aspect. The Tesseract and its philosophical implications host a gateway to pondering the nature of reality. It challenges us to think beyond the limits of our perception and wonder what would life be like in a universe with 4 spatial dimensions. Could we move through time as effortlessly as we move through space? These are the kinds of questions that make life in this universe so intriguing. So whether it's a key to the multiverse, a portal through time, or a geometric marvel, the Tesseract is a representation of what lies beyond. So there you have it, the definition of a Tesseract and some fascinating fun facts that highlight its allure and significance. Whether you see it as a mathematical marvel or a philosophical conundrum, the Tesseract invites us to embrace the unknown and expand our understanding of the universe. Thanks for joining us today, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more mind-blowing explorations. Until next time, keep wondering.
They didn't choose me, they chose her.
For what, Cooper?
To save the world. All of this is one little girl's bedroom, every moment. It's infinitely complex. They have access to infinite time and space, but they're not bound by anything. They can't find a specific place in time. They can't communicate. That's why I'm here. I'm gonna find a way to tell Murph, just like I found this moment.
How, Cooper?
Love, Tars, love. It's just like Brand said. My connection with Murph, it is quantifiable. It's the key.
What are we here to do?
Find out, I tell her.
Goes inside the black hole. He gets to put the bulk into the higher dimension. And it goes out of the black hole, not through the horizon. It can't do that. It goes up
through the fourth dimension.
Up through the fourth space dimension.
Yeah.
or what's called the fifth dimension in the movie.
Sure.
His time is the fourth dimension, and goes back to Earth. And the distance back to the Earth is less than the distance between the Earth and the sun, even though it's 10 billion light years inside of our universe. Up in the bulk, it's a very short distance, and so he can get back
When you say
very
the bulk,
quickly.
this is the higher dimensional space-time in
That's
which
right.
we are now having this.
So he gets back very
event.
quickly, riding on the surface of this four-dimensional sphere. He said, "I like it all entirely, except I'm going to use a four-dimensional cube instead of a four-dimensional sphere. That's a tesseract."
Yes.
And so that's what happens. And when you see Cooper out there sort of flailing around at the beginning of the Tesseract scene, he's being carried by the Tesseract back to Earth, but you don't know that's what's happening until you read my book. By agreement between Chris and me. That's the only way anyone's ever going to know. So anyway, he's carried back to Earth, and then everything is happening when the Tesseract is docked in the higher dimension beside his...
Giving access to his life in that past time.
That's right.